My name is Abby Miller. I was 32 years old on the day I learned that joy can coexist with betrayal, and that silence can be louder than screaming. I saw the smile before I saw the betrayal. It was my mother's smile, soft, bright, perfectly rehearsed. The kind she'd worn my entire life whenever a decision had already been made and I wasn't meant to question it. The music was still playing. My husband, Daniel, and I had just finished our first dance. Applause rolled through the room. Glasses clinked. Someone laughed near the bar. The chandelier lights caught the shimmer of my younger sister Danielle's dress, scattering sparkles across the walls, like celebration itself had learned how to mock me. Then my mother leaned in. "We're passing the car your in-laws gave you over to your sister." She said it like she was offering dessert, like it was small, like it was settled somewhere over coffee without me. I stared at her, waiting for the rest of the sentence. The part where she'd say she was joking, or testing me, or drunk. But there was nothing. Danielle laughed beside her, light and careless. "Relax," she said. "It's just a car." I felt Daniel's body go still next to mine. He didn't interrupt. He never did in moments like this. He watched. He measured. He remembered. Then he turned his head slowly toward my sister. "Your envelope was empty," he said calmly, his voice steady, controlled. But we took it as a symbolic gift. The room didn't go silent right away, not audibly, but something shifted, like time hesitated, like the air thickened. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I leaned closer to Daniel and whispered, "Give them this." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a wide envelope. He handed it to my mother. She accepted it with a polite smile. My father leaned in, curious now. Danielle stepped closer, her smirk already forming. They opened it the way people open birthday cards. And then, nothing. No laughter, no comments. Just faces freezing mid-expression. You don't grow up imagining your wedding day will turn into a reckoning, but maybe I should have known. Danielle always got what she wanted, not by screaming or stomping. That would have been too obvious. She smiled. She assumed. And when assumption wasn't enough, my parents filled in the gaps. She got the bigger bedroom. I got the explanation. She's younger. She needs the space. She wrecked my laptop in college. "It was an accident," Mom said. "You should have backed it up." She crashed her first car, the one my grandparents helped her buy. They blamed the weather. I paid for mine with 3 years of warehouse shifts and cheap ramen dinners. I was the older sister, the resilient one. That meant I could wait. I could give. I could absorb disappointment quietly so no one else had to feel uncomfortable. When Daniel proposed, his parents gave us a car. Nothing flashy, clean, reliable, a start. "You built this life together," his father had said. "Here's something to help you move forward." It was the first gift I hadn't earned through sacrifice. The first thing that felt truly ours. And that, looking back, was exactly why it couldn't be allowed to stay with me. Danielle had never been told no in a language she respected. When her boyfriend backed out of their lease, she cried, and my parents paid the penalty. When she missed a job interview, it was bad timing. When she struggled, the narrative always bent around her comfort. "She's sensitive. She's going through a rough patch. She's your sister." The rough patch had lasted a decade. When we got engaged, Danielle didn't even pretend to be happy. She joked about me finally settling and asked Daniel, laughing, if he was sure he wanted someone so intense. I smiled. Daniel stayed quiet, but I saw the flicker in his eyes, the way he stored every word away. Then came the envelope from his parents at the rehearsal dinner. Inside was the title to the car. We didn't show it off, didn't post it. We tucked it away, grateful, until the morning of the wedding. My mother knocked on my dressing suite door, her voice soft, her smile practiced. "Danielle's been having car trouble," she said. "It's unsafe. You understand." I frowned, confused. Then she said it. "That car her parents gave you? We thought it might be more useful for your sister. You two can manage for now." Not a question, a decision. Daniel laughed, not kindly. "We're not giving away our wedding gifts." My mother's smile faltered. "Well, We already told her she could have it. Don't make this a thing. I swallowed it then, told myself we'd deal with it later. I didn't want drama on my wedding day. But now, in the middle of our reception, she made it public. We're giving the car your in-laws gifted you to your sister. Danielle laughed again, like it was all a joke, like she hadn't already gone into our garage the night before and taken photos, like she hadn't posted them with the caption, "Finally got a ride that fits me." The envelope my mother held wasn't a check. It wasn't a thank you card. It was a notarized legal letter from Daniel's parents' attorney. I watched my mother's smile tremble at the corners as she read. Danielle leaned over her shoulder, eyes scanning too fast. Then her face dropped. I watched it happen in real time. Her smirk dissolving, her pupils shrinking like she'd been slapped. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. I felt ready. Danielle's smile vanished first. It didn't fade. It collapsed, like a mask slipping off too fast to catch. 1 second she was leaning in, eager, entitled. The next, her lips parted slightly, her brows knitting together as if the words on the page refused to make sense. My mother didn't blink, not right away. She read the letter twice, her eyes moving slower the second time. Her smile stayed on, but it trembled now, just enough for me to recognize it. My father reached in, taking the paper from her with 2 fingers as if it might bite. "What is this?" he muttered. Daniel answered before I could. His voice was calm, almost gentle. "A notarized legal declaration," he said, "drafted 2 weeks ago, signed by both of us." Danielle let out a sharp laugh. "You've got to be kidding me." Daniel didn't look at her. He kept his eyes on my father. "It confirms that all wedding gifts, including the car, are legally ours. Any attempt to sell, transfer, or gift it without Abby's written, notarized consent will be considered unauthorized." My mother scoffed, sliding the paper back into the envelope like it offended her. "This is ridiculous," she said. "It's a car, not a child." "No," I said quietly. "It's the principle." She turned toward me, eyes narrowing. "You're being petty." Daniel leaned forward slightly. His tone sharpened. Not loud, just precise. "You wanted something symbolic," he said. "This is it." The silence that followed was different from before. Dense. Sharp. The kind that settles after something irreversible breaks. Danielle crossed her arms. "So you're threatening us? On your wedding day?" "You crossed the line first," I said. My voice didn't shake. That surprised me. "You tried to take something that wasn't yours." "Oh my God, not this again," she snapped. "Is this about high school? The room? The laptop? Mom, tell her she's being dramatic." I looked at her fully then, really looked. "This is about how you've always treated what's mine, like it was just waiting for you." "You're ridiculous," she said. "No," Daniel replied. "We're done." Her jaw dropped. "Wow. You really think you're tough now because you married into money?" That was it. I took 1 step forward. "You have no idea what we've built," I said. "You assume everything we have was handed to us because that's how your life works." "Don't talk to her like that," my mother gasped. "She's family." "No," I said flatly. "She's always leaned on family. There's a difference." Danielle's face flushed. "I'm struggling." "You're comfortable," I snapped. "You've been rescued so often you don't know how to stand." "You're not perfect either," she shouted. "You left home, remember? Disappeared for 3 years." "Because I needed air," I said. "Because being around you was exhausting. Because I was done watching you break things and get comforted while I was expected to fix them." My mother stepped between us, her voice trembling. "We've always supported you." "No," I said. "You tolerated me. You celebrated her." My father finally spoke. "Enough. This is a wedding." Daniel didn't back down. "We tried to keep this private. You made it public." He turned to Danielle. "You went into our garage without permission, took photos, posted them like the car was already yours." Danielle blinked. "We weren't stealing it." "You used it without consent," Daniel said. His voice rose for the first time. "You mocked us, then showed up here with an empty envelope and called it symbolic." Then he smiled. "But this one's real." He handed Danielle another envelope. Her name was printed clearly on the front. She stared at it like it burned. My mother snatched it from her hands. "This is disgusting." "No," I said. "This is accountability." My father growled, "We're your parents." "And this," I replied, "is my boundary." Daniel turned to the stunned room. "I'm sorry for the interruption," he said calmly. "The open bar is still running. The cake is still coming." Then he looked at me. "Dance with me." The music resumed, hesitant at first, then louder. Danielle stepped back like she'd been shoved. My parents walked out without a word. No apology, no goodbye. Just the quiet exit of people used to being obeyed. Daniel kissed my cheek. "Still glad you married me?" "Best investment I ever made," I said. And for the first time that night, I meant it. The DJ hesitated for half a second after my parents walked out. Just long enough for everyone to feel it. Then the music started again. Not the song we'd planned, something safer, brighter, meant to pull people back into motion. At first, no one moved. Guests stood frozen with half-raised glasses, eyes darting between us and the exit. A few phones were still out. I didn't care enough to look. Daniel took my hand. "We're okay," he murmured. Not a question, a statement. We danced. Slowly, the room exhaled. Laughter crept back in, tentative at first, then louder. Glasses clinked again, but the sound had changed. It wasn't celebration anymore. It was awareness. Some people looked at us with something close to awe. Others avoided our eyes completely. No one asked questions. They didn't need to. That night, after the cake was cut and the last song faded, we got into the car, and drove home in silence. Not the awkward kind, the earned kind, the kind that settles after truth has finally been spoken out loud. At home, Daniel locked the car, then locked it again. The next morning, Danielle posted, "Some people value money more than family. Hope it's worth it." 50 likes. Mostly people who hadn't even been at the wedding. My mother followed with a sunset photo. "Letting go is painful, but sometimes necessary. Still praying for those who forget where they came from." That one stung. Not because it was true, because she believed it. We unfriended Danielle, muted my parents, left the family group chats without a word. No announcement, no explanation, just absence. 2 days later, Danielle started a GoFundMe. Vehicle emergency caused by betrayal. It raised $18. I took a screenshot and closed the app. That night, my phone buzzed. "Mom, you're still angry. This has gone too far." I stared at the message for a long time before replying with a single photo, the legal letter she'd read at the wedding. My caption was simple: "Help isn't theft." Then I blocked her. We left for our honeymoon the next morning. We drove past cell towers into quiet, slept in the mountains, ate gas station snacks at midnight, laughed at dumb podcasts and inside jokes no one else knew. Daniel posted one photo of me behind the wheel, the woman who finally stopped apologizing. I didn't ask him to take it down. A week later, we attended another wedding. The RSVP card asked for song requests or notes. I wrote, "Don't invite people who think love means access to your things." 2 weeks after that, I missed a call from my father. No voicemail. I didn't call back. The silence said enough. I used to think boundaries were cruel, that family always deserved a seat at the table. But then they tried to steal the table and told me to be grateful for the scraps. First it's quiet, then it's lonely, then it's free. Danielle didn't reach out. Not after the GoFundMe flopped. Not after the post stopped getting attention. Not even on her birthday. She vanished the way entitlement does when there's nothing left to take. My parents grew quieter. Then my mother sent a long email. "We raised you better than this. I don't know what he's filled your head with. Come home." I didn't answer. 3 days later, another message arrived. A photo. Me and Danielle on the porch when we were kids. Arms around each other, grinning. Caption: "Don't let her erase your memories." I deleted it. I didn't need to forget where I came from. I just stopped pretending it was ever safe. Breaking cycles isn't a single moment. It lingers. It shows up as guilt when you're finally calm, as doubt when nothing is actually wrong, as that quiet voice that whispers, maybe you overreacted, Maybe you are the problem. It took 3 therapy sessions before I admitted the truth out loud. I didn't miss them. I wasn't grieving my family. I was detoxing. Daniel saw it before I did. One night, while we were brushing our teeth in silence, he said it casually, like he was talking about the weather. "You don't owe them love," he said. "You owe yourself peace." At the time, it sounded harsh. Now it sounds like clarity. We changed the locks, literally, replaced keypads, reprogrammed the smart system, removed my parents as emergency contacts, took their photos off the fridge, not out of anger, out of honesty. I kept one photo, me standing in front of the car they tried to take, minutes after they walked out of my wedding. My face wasn't smiling, but it was real, and that mattered more. Relatives still reached out. A cousin texted, "Isn't it time to forgive?" I didn't respond. Forgiveness isn't owed by blood. Danielle forgave herself every time she took. My parents forgave her every time she failed. No one ever forgave me for saying no. So I didn't ask for permission anymore. I moved forward. For our first anniversary, Daniel and I drove the same car out to the coast. No hotel booked, no plan. Just wind, music, and the kind of freedom that doesn't ask for approval. "Remember when we thought we had to explain everything?" he asked, laughing softly. I laughed too, not because it was funny, but because we were finally done being apologetic. When we got home, there was a card waiting on the counter. No return address. I recognized my mother's handwriting immediately. "We miss you. We love you. Come back when you're ready to be part of the family again." I didn't hesitate. I tore it up, dropped it into the trash, and walked away. I don't want their version of family. I want peace, and I have it. Every time I unlock my door without bracing. Every time I start the car knowing it's mine. Every time I wake beside someone who loves me without a price tag attached. That's the life I chose. And this time, no one gets to take it.